folks, I just got done shaving the side. I messed it up a little bit here, but the exterior pretty much goes to right here, and this is going to be inside. But I pretty much had to router this part out. As you can see, now it's completely round. Well, let's see, now it's completely round this way, so I'm gonna have to fill in this side with some resin. So, and because I didn't have enough, of a gauge here, I had to kind of round it off by hand with my my belt sander. So that's how that looks now, and it's already 12 in the afternoon, unfortunately, and it's already hot. It's already 83 degrees out here. And the only reason I'm starting off on this late in the afternoon is because I was hunting down this guy here, which this is the sealant that I'm going to use to seal all this. Put a bead right here and just drop it on the top of the truck, and that's it. Once I seal it, that's it. I'm not going to move it anymore, and then just build up on it. Once I put this stuff on, it's going to be a permanent seal right here. All of this is going to be waterproof. This is Sikaflex. It's long open time marine adhesive sealant. So there was two types. This is the 291 lot, and then there was just 291. The 291 pretty much cures within an hour, and then long open time means that it's going to stay wet a little bit longer, which this is 3 hours. It'll stay wet around 3 hours and cures in 24 hours. But this is as you can see, this is a marine grade adhesive sealant. Here. Use above or below the water line, resistant to salt water, long open capacity. But the thing I love about this is that I have experience with the Sikaflex product, and I use this. I haven't used the marine brand, and in fact I didn't even know they had a marine marine version of this. I was going to use the Sikaflex construction adhesive sealant. It comes in a yellow can and a yellow tube, and I use that in my job for just sealant products or sealing projects around the property over where I work at. So I have experience with this stuff, and this is really good stuff, and I didn't realize that they had. So I actually looked it up, and they don't sell this marine product in Home Depot. So I actually ended up getting this at West Marine. It's a pretty much a big outdoors style marine type store, almost like I would say it's almost like a sporting good. I don't know, I'm in California, so I don't know if it's like a California store or but you guys can let me know, or I'm sure I've seen this online. You can also purchase this online, but this is a really, I've never actually used this specific one, but I have experience with the Sikaflex product, and this is just right up my alley, marine grade. So this is I was reading online, so this is it's really strong, and it's for fiberglass. Anyways, you can read online the usage on this, and it's meant for fiberglass, metal, even gel coat. So it's actually for this. So I had to hunt this guy down, and this is the only reason why I started late in the afternoon, because I forgot that I didn't have my this stupid sealant. I had some RV sealant, but it turns out that it's RV roof sealant, and I had the wrong stuff. So I needed to get something to seal this, because without sealing this, I won't be able to do the rest of the stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I started late in the afternoon. And the other reason, I'm just not a morning person, per se. So You know, I kind of started late, had it, you know, started off slow, had my coffee and all that, and then, you know, I went to go look for this product, which it wasn't far away. You know, I just drove like 10 minutes to the West Marine store. So, but again, you can find that stuff online. And actually, while I was there, I actually found a whole bunch of marine stuff. So this is some caulking, it's white silicone, and this is the stuff that I'm going to use for this area. See, as you can see, it's already cracked right here. You know, all of this stuff here, see, all of this stuff, it's already cracked and weathered. So supposedly this stuff, well, not this stuff, but supposedly this stuff is weather resistant, water resistant, and you know, it's very flexible and it's very strong. So that's some good stuff here. So I'm glad I actually found this, and actually glad I found this as well. So that's the only reason why I'm starting late in the afternoon. You know, I let it get to 83 degrees. You know, I got my tarp, I got shade. You know, and yet it's 83 degrees in the shade. So we're gonna see. The only thing that I need to do is that, you know, I cleaned this up. As you can see, this is all clean already. I mean, there's some, you know, little discrepancies there, but I cleaned that, and I actually did a thick coat of resin already. So it's already got a thick coat of resin underneath, but as you can see, it's still a little bit flexible, more flexible than I would want it to be. So I'm actually going to use this chopped fiberglass in underneath here, and just do a few more layers just to kind of strengthen this a little bit, keep it from flexing, which, like I say, even as a whole, it doesn't flex as much, but you know, I just want to strengthen it just for good measure. You know, I got my my little son hanging out with me today, so alright, so this resin here didn't last me as long. As you can tell, this stuff is already jelly. This stuff is not liquid anymore, so either I probably took a little too long with this, or whatever the case may be, this is no good anymore to me. So I gotta hurry up and make another batch really quick before that hardens up. Yeah, so much for that, huh? Yeah, it's starting to harden up, and I think it also has to do a lot with the temperature. It's 100 and, oh, should have had this in the sun, so it's 110 in the sun. I don't know what the temperature is like in the shade, but I'm pretty sure it's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm sure it's at its hottest point right now. So yeah, this in here, this stuff in here already, it's giving me a really hard time. So I don't know how this is gonna work out there. Oh shit. Yeah, this part here didn't seem to have worked out Look at that stuff is already dried up there. No way I can roll that out. I gotta try to remove as much of this loose fiber as I can, because this loose fiber has no value to the strength or the integrity of this piece. So I have to remove it so I can try to potentially do another layer. I don't know. Gotta remove it. I think that's as good as that's gonna get, you know. Try to remove as much of the stuff off. I couldn't cut those out for some reason, or maybe I'll still try to cut that piece out. But as you can tell, it was okay on that section. Then this section was okay, but you know, it's not till I got to this section where, you know, the temperature just kind of rose maybe 4 or 5 degrees, and that was just the difference between, you know, curing almost instantly to, you know, this side it gave me at least like 10 minutes or so to work with it, but this side just, you know, just didn't work with me. Unfortunately, you know, I have no other option but to work out here. You know, I got my shade, my tarp. I got the sun, you know, I'm in the shade, but you know, obviously it's still really hot. And like I said, unfortunately, you know, I have no other place to work on this. I wanted to do this early on in the morning, but you know, I just couldn't get here early enough on time. So, you know, I was out, you know, looking for the caulking that I need to place over this stuff so that I can just, you know, set it onto the truck and permanently mount it and weather seal it. So, you know, that was also a priority, you know, searching for that this morning. Being that it's a weekend, so you know, I guess I was lucky to have found that. But the negative effect of that was that, you know, I started this a little late in the morning, and it just got hot. So, you know, I'm going to, you know, again, this is all going to be in the inside. You know, none of this is going to be visible. It's just all, you know. In fact, what I'm planning to do is fill this part in with foam to insulate it, because this part's going to be, you know, it's just going to be an empty void. So I'm just going to fill it in with insulation to add insulation. But I am going to come back later and then just add one more layer of just pure resin, you know, just to try to lock up these loose fibers, and you know, try to do another coat of resin, you know, along this side, you know, just for good measure. Again, the goal here was to make this a little bit more sturdy. So, you know, this is still kind of rubbery, so it's still got a little flexibility there. This has a little flexibility, but I can feel it that it's a little bit more sturdier than obviously it's sturdier than just one layer. So one more coat of just pure resin, you know, just to kind of add another little hardened layer, and you know, just as much resin as I can on that section there, just kind of tie in those loose fibers there. Alright, so this thing doesn't flex as much, and it's seems a lot sturdier. So with the weight distributed, you know, through the whole thing, this thing is going to be solid. You know, it's just as a precaution. I mean, you know, just one layer could have held the weight just fine, and obviously the fiberglass did not set perfectly even. As you can see, you got all this clear stuff is all air. The fiberglass didn't adhere to this part here, you know. So I mean, either way, like I said, it's just a little extra strength there, you know, that I wanted to add. I ended up having to sand this whole thing and try to smooth it down because it didn't appear so at first because it's all clear, but once I started sanding it, I realized that I had a bunch of drips, you know, from doing this stuff, and I had a bunch of drips, you know, just from, you know, brushing and doing it sloppy. So I ended up having to sand it. I ended up having to use my belt sander for most of the part to knock down the big heavy stuff. You know, then I just kind of ended up sanding it with the, you know, my hand by hand, and you know, I ended up sanding down, you know, exposing some of the fiberglass. So it turns out that I'm going to have to do the Bondo after all, you know, just because the way it turned out just from sanding it down, it's just all rough. So I'm actually gonna do Bondo this whole section here and try to smooth that out. But before I do Bondo, as you can see, I exposed some of the fiberglass, you know, throughout. So I have to do another coat of resin, make sure that the wood is completely sealed and cured before I put Bondo, because Bondo can easily crumble, break, crack, or whatever, and it can expose the actual wood, making it vulnerable. Just a little tiny entrance for water or moisture, it'll just start spreading, you know, turning into dry rot. And you know, that's what I'm trying to avoid of down, because like I said, I ended up having drips and a bunch of stuff, and you know, in addition to the already wrinkled and messed up finish that I had. So you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, just Bondo it after all, and then paint it. You know, so I still have to paint it before I mount it, because once I mount it, I ain't gonna be able to stick my hand in there and paint it. Otherwise, I'll just, you know, have the same result with drips and, you know, nasty stuff. So actually already 6:40, which sundown is pretty much in like 30 minutes. So I don't know. See, the sun's already about to go down. So I don't know, either I might keep working in the dark, or, you know, set up my lights here, but I don't want to be out here with the mosquitoes. These mosquitoes get crazy out here. As soon as that sun goes down, these mosquitoes get super crazy. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you shall find out, right? All right, so I got a coat of resin all the way around the spacer area there, and then I did a coat all the way on the edges to seal the edges, even though I'm still going to fiberglass over it once I put the other part in. But yeah, so it's still a little tacky. It's almost hard. So once it hardens up, I'm gonna do some Bondo. Temperature has dropped dramatically, you know, 71 degrees now from like just a few, maybe just from an hour, and it's 17 already. So, and then my humidity level is kind of rising too. So you know, starting to get dark. I got my lamp set up, so I'm gonna try to work as late as possible. Like I said, I'm going to try to rebuild this, or not rebuild it, but try to straighten out the, you know, the spacer there, you know, keep it from looking all bumpy and Alright, so it's the next morning. Try to get an early head start this morning. However, it is already 9 a.m. so luckily I got most of this done. I have just a little bit more Bondo to do, and then I can paint this whole thing white. Alright, so this is the final Bondo layer, and you know, it's pretty smooth. It came out pretty smooth. Looks pretty good. So the next step is I'm going to be using the same stuff that I used for that back fiberglass panel, which is I'm going to primer it with this stuff and overcoat it, top coat it with this stuff. Only thing that I have against me is the temperature. It's 76 degrees now, and it's barely 10:30 in the morning, so it's gonna get hot. So I'm race against time because apparently I forgot to bring my little handle for the roller to roll on some paint. So I gotta run down to the Home Depot and just to buy a roller. But I'm against time here because if it gets too hot, I'll have a hard time even just rolling this onto this. So this is 76 in the shade, but in the sun it's probably much hotter. So we're trying to gotta run down to Home Depot and just grab a handle and put a coat of primer and then put a top coat of this this marine grade paint. Got my little helper today, Julian, who's getting all dirty and messy. He's got dirt all over his face and on his clothes, but he's having fun hanging out with Daddy.
And building some toys over
and he's building something over there, which is pretty cool. And getting all dirty. So we're gonna go to Home Depot, and we shall be back soon. It's been about an hour since this thing was painted. It's 91 degrees. It's 1:30 p.m., 1:34 p.m. But this is what I am dealing with.
So many bugs.
So many flies.
Or bugs.
It is crazy, and it's still kind of sticky. So
I
don't know how long this is going to take to dry.
Maybe like 1,000 years.
No, I don't think it's gonna take 1,000 years. This is the primer. Alright, so this is it's been a couple hours since I did this top coat, and it's still kind of sticky. And as you can see, it's been attracting a lot of these little tiny flies. And it's in really bad shape with these flies. Trying to look past the flies. You know, the actual shape of the spacer kind of turned out okay. I'm actually glad that I ended up bondoing it and smoothing it out and fixing that part. It was bothering me that it didn't look nice, but you know, like I said, trying to look past these flies, it turned out okay. I'm hoping that once it dries completely, I'm able to wipe these flies off with a wet towel, and then if I have to, just add a quick little coat of paint. I don't know, you know, that's just, like I said, that's just one of the many challenges that I have, you know, having to work out here in the exposed farm, whatever. But I was hoping that it'll dry to the touch where I can actually handle it, place it on top, and then just kind of screw the wooden pieces up above, and you know, for now. But I won't be able to do that. I think this is just going to take at least a good 24 hours to fully cure. And I was actually thinking of just placing it on top and let it cure up there, but I can't do that because I need to put a bead of that marine caulking that I showed you guys. But I can't do that until this is completely cured, because if I put any product over this uncured paint, this will never have the opportunity to fully cure, and it'll be a soft layer in between, and that can just separate, and it'll fail miserably, if you know, especially when we're dealing with water and vibrations of the truck. So I want to have this completely cure 100%. So unfortunately, that's it for this video. I won't be able to do much more of it. It seems like you know, I didn't get a whole lot done this weekend again, but as you guys can see, it actually, you know, doing the Bondo repair work, body work, or whatever you call it, it actually, the final shape of it turned out okay. I'm hoping that I can just wipe these little flies off once it fully cures. So I have to close up everything, and you know, because like I said, I've already been sat around literally with my son. I got my son over there hanging out. We're just kind of hanging out, but it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd rather be doing something else with my son than just sitting around literally watching paint dry. So we're not gonna do that anymore. Stay tuned for the next video, and hopefully by then this is fully cured. I'll add the marine grade caulking on it, drop it, place it on top of the truck, and it'll be a permanent fixture on top of the truck, and then I can just start building it up from that point on, and fiberglassing the rest of it. I'm hoping that the rest of the construction of the top part will be a lot smoother than this one piece here that's been kind of holding back the process. But as the saying goes, it's all part of the process. I gotta just kind of put this away, and hopefully I have some time next weekend to continue work on it, and hopefully I have my little helper here helping me out, keeping me company, eating cookies, eating snacks, little snack boy. But we have a lot of fun. So yeah, we got to go out and maybe do something else, maybe not something directly in the sun, but we got to go and hang out. And mostly, like I said, guys, I don't have every weekend, because when I do have my weekends, obviously I'd rather be doing something else, hanging out with my kids. I have another little baby 2-year-old at home that, you know, I'd rather be hanging out with. But you know, this is something that I also enjoy doing. And believe it or not, I actually enjoy doing this whole process. And, you know, sometimes it could be frustrating when things just don't go as smooth or as planned, or you know, just kind of just dealing with what I have to work with. But overall, you know, it's coming out okay. I think the piece here came out okay. Again, minus the flies. But anyway, stick to the next video. We got Oreo cookie face over there eating delicious cookies, and we will see you guys on the next video. Anything you want to say? Bye bye.